The Mantle of Battle Harmony works great with Warlock Stasis builds, and today I'm going to put together an endgame build that's going to have you freezing and shattering enemies. I'm going to run through the stasis setup, the weapons, the armor and the mods, plus look at how it all comes together, so you can use Stasis and Mantle of Battle Harmony together in Destiny 2. Well, if you're new around here or find this useful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. And roughly 98% of viewers who watch This Week in Video Games aren't subscribed, so subscribe today and never miss an update. Without further delay, let's dive into this build. So first of all, we've got the stasis setup. So for this one, I'm using Winter's Wrath. My grenade is a Cold Snap grenade. My melee is a Penumbral Blast. And for my class ability is a Healing Rift. Next up for the aspects, I'm using Bleak Watcher. So press and hold the grenade button to convert your grenade into a stasis turret that fires slowing projectiles at nearby targets. Also using Glacial Harvest, so freezing targets create stasis shards around the frozen targets, and higher tier combatants create more shards. Then for the fragments, I'm using Whisper of Conduction, so nearby stasis shards track your position. Whisper of Bonds, defeating frozen targets grants you super energy. Whisper of Shards, shattering a stasis crystal temporarily boosts your grenade recharge rate, and shattering additional stasis crystals increases the duration of this benefit. Then I'm using Whisper of Chains, so while you're near frozen targets or a friendly stasis crystal, you take reduced damage from targets. Next up, the exotic armour and the focus of the build. This is the Mantle of Battle Harmony. So Mantle of Battle Harmony is an exotic Warlock chest armour, and it comes with the perk Absorption Cells. So takedowns with weapons that have a damage type matching your subclass element grants you super energy, and while your super energy is full, you gain a temporary bonus to weapon damage of the type matching your subclass element. So when you defeat enemies with weapons that have the same damage type, then you get a boost to your super energy regeneration, and if your super is full, you get a 20% damage boost. Well, you can get this one from Lost Sectors on Chest Day when you completed solo via Legend and Master difficulty. Next up for the weapons, we've got in the kinetic slot Perseus D. This one is a legendary kinetic scout rifle with a high impact frame, meaning it's slow firing, it's got high damage. The weapon is more accurate when stationary and you're aiming down the sights. So rapid hit and headstone would be a really good role for PVE content, especially headstone with the synergy for this stasis build. In the energy slot, I'm using Graviton Lance. It's an exotic energy pulse rifle. So checking out the perks on this one, got Black Hole. So second shot of the burst rips a hole through space-time, doing high damage and recoil with no fall off. And then Cosmology, so kills with the weapon cause enemy targets to detonate and spawn void projectiles that track targets. So Graviton Lance is a great choice here in the energy slot, and you can pick it out from Zur when he's selling it. But also, if you've got Collective Obligation, that is also good too, although you have to do the raid from the Witch Queen expansion. Finally, in the power slot, I'm using Chain of Command. This one's a really good machine gun, comes with a selection of perks: Adrenaline Junkie, Demolitionist, Osmosis, and Adaptive Munitions. I'm going for Adrenaline Junkie and Demolitionist, given the grenade focus of the build. Demolitionist is particularly good, because kills with the weapon generate grenade energy. Next up for the build, we got the mods, so Elemental Ordnance. Defeating combatant with a grenade spawns an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type. Bountiful Wells, so elemental well mods that cause you to spawn elemental wells now stack, spawning additional wells for each additional copy of the mod you have equipped. Also, Font of Might, picking up an elemental well that matches your subclass energy type grants a temporary bonus to weapon damage. And Elemental Shards, so stasis shards count as stasis elemental wells for you, and does not apply to Crucible, Trials or Iron Banner. Then I'm using Anti-Barrier Scout Rifle and Unstoppable Pulse Rifle. Well, next up, let's have a look at the gameplay for this build. So this build is focused around a Stasis Warlock, plus also the Mantle of Battle Harmony. I'm going to be combining Stasis, grenades, and increasing damage output to create a beast of a Warlock build that's going to help you tear through endgame PvE content. Well, first up, we've got the increased damage. So Mantle of Battle Harmony's main perk is called Absorption Cells. So takedowns with weapons that have a damage type match your subclass element grant you super energy, and while your super energy is full, you instead gain a temporary bonus to weapon damage of the type matching your subclass element. Therefore, we want to get our super as fast as possible so you can use your stasis weapons. Whisper of Bonds, that's one of our stasis fragments, going to come in really useful here, given we get super energy when we defeat frozen targets. Once you get that super, don't use it immediately, as we're going to want to use that damage increase from holding onto our super, triggering the absorption cells. And by collecting Stasis Elemental Wells, we're going to be using Font of Might for another 20% damage output increase. Grenades, they are also key to the build. We want to freeze enemies to shatter them and get more super energy, and Bleak Watcher is going to help us do this. Now you can press and hold the grenade button to convert your grenade into a stasis turret that fires slowing projectiles at nearby targets. Now we can use a combination of all our stasis abilities plus headstone perks on our weapons if you have them to shatter as many enemies as possible. I'm also using elemental ordnance, meaning stasis grenade kills are going to generate elemental wells, plus we've got bountiful wells, meaning more wells created, and we're going to use that boost with Font of Might. Whisper of Shards is also good because it helps grenade energy recharge faster when shattering a stasis crystal, which you're going to be doing a lot, meaning you're going to get those grenades back nice and quickly. Regarding weapons, I'm using weapons that are suitable for Nightfalls and other endgame PvE content. Now this week in-game it's anti-barrier and unstoppable champions, and I'm going to be using a scout rifle and a pulse rifle, so if you're watching this in future weeks, I would use weapons that cater for champions in the activity that you're doing, but also work with the stasis build. For example, Perseus D is a good choice because it's a scout rifle and it's got stasis damage, and Chain of Command also helps with stasis kills. You can use anything in the energy slot. I chose Graviton Lance here, but it could be something else. I needed something for unstoppable champions, and Graviton Lance being a pulse rifle worked for me. For example, on another week, Vex Mythoclast would be a good choice if you've got it. Well, finally, I'm using the benefits of stasis to take out enemies. Glacial Harvest creates stasis shards, and then Whisper of Conduction helps bring them right to me, rather than me going to seek them out, which is really going to be helpful in Nightfall content, especially on harder difficulties. Whisper of Change is really good because if you're near frozen enemies, you take reduced damage. Well, let me know in the comments what you think of the build, and let me know if you've got any improvements. And that is it for this Stasis Warlock PvE build with Mantle of Battle Harmony in Destiny 2. And as always, thank you so much for watching or listening. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. Or you can check me out on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video, found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Well, thanks again. I'll see you soon.